Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack,
And I'm Dana Gentry.
and I'm just dying here, Dana, that you have to have glasses. Oh, I'm just dying. I guess because being a glasses wearer, I think more and more people are going to have to wear glasses because of computers. Honestly, I just think it's going to be everybody.
That's right, because I've had 20/20 vision my entire life. And over like the last, I don't know, maybe like 8 months, I just am like squinting and I can't see. I feel well, what it started was I would look at my phone, Linda, like if I'm on my phone for too long and then I look up, like everything is blurry.
Ooh.
And he did say that that's like when your eyes are kind of changing, like it's a focus problem or whatever. But I did find these really cute glasses. I'll tell you where I went because I know you're always looking for cute glasses. Is this Warby Parker
Oh,
place?
yeah. Yeah. I love Warby
They
Parker.
have great. I got two
Yeah.
pairs there.
I think I might have the same ones you have. I don't know. You have a different color on the bottom.
This is blue on the bottom, and then
Oh, I
like
like it. No, I don't have those. Those are cute. I'll have to go
yeah,
by there and
they're
see what
cute.
they have.
But I'm gonna try. Today's my first day, so I'm gonna like see if I can see better with them because I think I won't get as bad of head. I've been getting headaches. I think it's because I'm trying to like strain too hard to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well,
Are you in the region?
I am in the region. I actually, yeah, I've been here all last week and all this week. I've got some appointments this afternoon. I'm
Nice.
working. I'm working, girl. So we're going to do a real quick
Yep.
podcast I'm super excited because think I told you last time I'm doing a 90-day transformation,
Yep.
and I'm doing it with one of my friends that's a top producer out of Utah. So I love it because her and I are doing it together, and her and I are doing carnivore together. So I'm super pumped, which by the
Oh
way,
my
she listens
gosh.
to our podcast all the time.
Who is
So
it?
Jean Tanner. She's out
Oh,
of, I think it's Salt Lake City, somewhere in Utah.
nice.
Anyway,
Okay.
she's just super cool. I keep saying we're going to have her on the podcast
I was
because
just
she's
about to say we
accomplished
gotta have her on.
so much, just so much. She's just super, super talented. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is, she just sent me a funny smiley message because I sent her something earlier this morning. That's too funny.
That's
I
so
was like,
funny.
is she
Hers
listening
were
live?
yours
That
were
was a blonde moment.
her
um,
ears were burning. This is the Ben Hardy challenge, right?
yes, it's the Ben Hardy challenge. What you have to do is create an impossible goal. And
Okay.
then what happens is you start having to have a new floor, and your floor is like your standards of what you say yes and no to. So
Yep.
I want you to do this, Dana. I want you to think back to a time that you made a 10x jump in your life. So go back somewhere and think of a 10x jump that you made in your life.
Yep. Okay. Um, I think it would be moving from real estate to leadership,
Yep.
truthfully. I mean, that's like
Okay.
the very first thing that pops in my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So when you did that, what are some of the things you had to let go of? Okay. So yeah, like what is some of the 80% that you were doing that you had to stop doing?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing was selling. I mean, that was a huge difference because I was still so much in this selling every single day. Um, I know I don't know how to have you turn that off. I was just about to say.
Settings? Oh, 2 pills. I think I've seen that before. This is funny. We're gonna have to definitely take this out of the podcast. What a start. Okay. I don't see the 2 pills no more. Okay, wait, here's
Uh-uh.
a oh gosh, hold on.
Dang, and of course now my wallpaper guy like has had all day. Like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Oh yeah, the two little things. Yep.
I see a bunch of oh, up there?
Where your like clock is.
Oh, okay, wait a minute. Oh, I'm up there. Okay, I see now. Oh, yeah, I see it. Okay. Okay. Uh, got one that says focus.
Mine says
Okay, good. All right, I think we're good. All right, we'll see. All right.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, I did that too. Mine says do not disturb for 1 hour. Perfect.
Okay, good. Do we want to start over?
No, no, it's okay.
Please do that. Okay, so you think back to a 10x time in your life where
Yep.
so you let go of selling real estate so that you could move into leadership. You had a bigger, brighter future in mind, but
Yep.
it meant you had to let go of 80%, um, and you had to figure out a new 20%. So what was the new 20% that you had to figure out?
Well, first, the new 20% actually was really investing in myself. Like, I had a lot to learn. So I
Okay.
just remember like attending everything and just really trying to, my 20% really became like learning how to master what I needed, like my new role really.
Yeah.
And trying to just like, personal growth a lot. And then after that, I guess it became just the activity. I mean, it was just
Okay.
the
And so
activities
what
that I
was one of the main activities that you now had to do that you weren't doing before? Might have been some of the same skill, but now you're doing it and you weren't doing it before.
it was, I mean, my main job was recruiting. That
Okay.
was 100%
Okay.
the focus.
Okay. So then all of a sudden your 20% is recruiting, and maybe only the part like because I did the same thing. Mine was exactly the same path as yours. I had
Yep.
to let go of my real estate sales, but the 20% that some of it that was similar is I had to be able to communicate and I had to be able to influence people. But now all of a sudden the people I'm influencing are different. They're
Yeah,
not
that's right.
buyers
It
and
was kind of
sellers
the
anymore.
same thing. It was just a different avatar.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So here's the thing. That's real easy to see, right? So, but did it feel impossible at the time because you'd never done it before? You didn't have the
Yeah,
credentials to do it.
totally.
But when you look back over your life, you can see this huge jump in income, right? Probably a good 10x.
Big time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So now what you want to do is moving forward, think about what is the 10x goal? Because here's the thing. Uh, if the 80%, quite honestly, tries to defend itself. So if we work in the if we keep the 80%, then what we're doing is we're doing things that have to do with our present and our past.
Mm-hmm.
We can't, if we want a bigger future, we have to do the 20% that's a bigger future activities. See,
Yep.
your bigger future activities was now to start calling on agents, recruiting agents to your brokerage,
Yeah.
uh, hiring people, things like that. That's different than what your 20% was. Even though some of
Yep.
the skills might be the same, the 20% is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, same thing for me. If I'd kept giving my attention to my sales business, more than likely I would have just had a 2x jump in my life, not a 10x jump.
Yep. Totally.
Right. So, so 80% of your life right now represents your past and your present.
Mm.
Um, and our core bottleneck in any bigger, brighter future is what we're paying our attention to.
Yep.
So all you have to do is realize that if I'm paying attention to what I was paying attention to after I set this impossible goal, then really all I'm doing is validating the present and the past that I've already had. Right?
Mm.
I'm not 10xing anything. To 10x something, I got to have an impossible goal that's a 10x goal, and then I have to let my standards start being what I say yes and no to.
Yep.
Does that make sense? And what's
Totally.
interesting is since doing this, it's funny how my sense of urgency changed. All of a sudden, I have a super high sense of urgency that
Yeah.
I didn't have
Yep.
a month ago.
Yep.
I didn't have that. I have it now because I've got this 10x goal lurking and I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I know that what I've been doing isn't going to get me there. So I got to figure out. And
Yep.
half of it, you spend your brain starts trying to come up with solutions to
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
solve.
because your focus is on that now.
Yeah, the focus is on that now. So so if you think about it like this, the only way to make my present self better is to make my future bigger.
Yep.
So, sometimes people get unhappy with kind of where they are right now. Well, the
Mm.
only way you're going to make that better is to make your future bigger and brighter. Because
Mm.
that future being bigger and brighter, I always say this all the time. I said this before I even started studying Ben. I would say when your future and your in what what you see your future being bigger, when it's bright enough or big enough, you'll let go of where you are to go
Yeah.
get that, right? But the problem is we don't live in the future enough. We stay in the present and the past.
Yeah.
Does that make
It's so
sense?
true. Yes, it's so true.
So literally, if you're operating at 2x level, then what we're doing is we're letting the present dictate the future, not the future dictate the present. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of what he talks about in in your future self now, or be your
yeah,
future self in the
yeah.
book.
So it's really interesting. If you're happy, and what I've discovered is if you're happy with your present self, then fine. But
Yeah.
if you want a brighter future, a bigger future, you have no other choice but to do this.
But you know what, Linda? Like my question is, do you think anybody's 100% happy with like their current their current self? Like, doesn't everybody want like something more or bright? I mean, maybe not. I guess there are some people maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think I think there's always some area.
Yeah,
There's
that
gotta
you're
be
all
some area,
yeah.
right? And I think you have different areas of your life. But I think what they're not connecting is their attention is being spent on things that support their present and their past. It
Yeah.
doesn't support something that they might want that's a brighter future, a bigger future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and this is it's so funny that we're talking about this because I've actually had this so much in my mind. I can't remember. I think I shared on the last episode, but how I was how our friend Graham Cochran that we had on, who wrote his book Rebel, he just talked about how he wanted to be on all those bestseller lists and all that. And remember, I think I shared this with you, but he had to literally stop doing all the other things that he was doing in order to focus on that for, a year or 18 months or however long it was. I can't remember, in order to get that big impossible goal that he had. And I think sometimes, I mean, at least for me personally, like that's can be scary to just think like, oh, I have to stop this other because you have responsibilities. But
Well, I
it's
think you don't necessarily, the activity doesn't have to
activity,
stop.
right?
It's
Yeah,
you have to stop doing the activity. Ryan and I just had this conversation out in the hallway on the way to the bathroom. It's like he was hearing things I was saying literally, like, "Oh, you mean I gotta stop doing this, this, and this? You
yeah,
have to stop doing this, but that doesn't have to stop." In other words,
that's right.
well, I explained to him, I said, "When I let go of my real estate sales didn't stop. I
Yeah,
just stopped being the one to do it."
yeah,
So, we're literally thinking of it that it has to stop altogether. No, it just means I can't do it anymore.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
have to that my new standard has to be, yes, we have to go on listing presentations and yes, we have to close buyers, but the standard is it can't be me that does it. See how
yeah.
that changes everything?
Everything. Yeah, it changes
Everything. So
everything.
I've just kind of been ruminating on all of this and thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is really powerful." If you could ever this is as powerful as the 4 C's, if you ask me. You know,
Totally. It
making the
really
commitment.
is.
It is because, if we just really focused on the future self and let that determine what our attention went to, and we couldn't let our attention go to anything that supported our past or present,
Yep.
then I think that would tie in who, not how, right?
Yes, totally. It all goes together. That
All
because
those.
that's what I'm getting ready to say. Like actually taught when I taught in Cincinnati last week or spoke, I opened with the 4 C's. And it really just reminded me like it does all go together because if you're gonna make the big commitment, then really you've got to have leverage so that the other stuff can go on so the activity doesn't stop so
Yeah.
that then you can work on the future self big impossible goal. Like it does, it's like one big thing mumbled together.
Well, and honestly, you can't you can't have an impossible goal that probably more than likely doesn't require some who's,
Yeah,
right?
totally agree. Yeah.
So when you think about who, not how, 10x is easier than 2x, the 4 C's, and then thinking about a bigger 10x future and
Yeah.
pulling all those together. And, I always think about Dan Sullivan and Gary Keller. They went deep on something.
Yep.
And so by going deep, they had to say no to a bunch of other things. I mean,
Mhm.
even thinking about with Dan a couple of years ago, he let go of his whole 10x group and gave that to a whole different coach and went into free zone where it's $50,000 a year to be a part of
Yep.
that, right? So, I mean, once I know something, I kind of start to look for evidence of it. And when the evidence starts showing up, it's like, okay, now I can't pretend I don't know this, right?
Yeah.
So
So did
really
you
all
feel
we
like
go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I just said really we have to think in future self and not if we just constantly stay there, that's going to dictate everything else.
Yep. Did you feel like once you set your big impossible goal, like did you automatically know the things that you needed to the
No.
activities that you needed to stop doing?
Oh, well, I think what happens is, well, what happens is my brain starts going to work.
Mhm.
And like, here's a perfect example. I taught business planning the other day, and in the middle of the business planning, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I'm just not. It doesn't support the bigger, brighter 10x future self for
Yep.
me to teach that. Does business planning need to be taught? Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to find the who's that I feel confident that if that room was full of our people and recruits, that would
Yep.
get delivered fabulously and they could do the same thing. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? But
totally.
that's not, well, let's put it this way. I have tried, well, I've called 4 people. I've set 2 appointments this week because I realized that it's about who's. So
Mhm.
who's the who's, right?
Yep.
So no, I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. It feels impossible still, but I think what happens is your brain goes to work. Well, I have 2 impossible goals. They both feel impossible, but one's a little bit easier than the other because one I'm in control of, and the other I feel like I got to do it through other people. And to me, that's flipping always the hardest.
It's so hard. Oh my gosh.
I wish it was something I could go do that would make me feel a whole lot more confident, but it's not. And so
Yep.
that's where the challenge is coming in. And I'm the kind of person that I go find a model of someone who's done it and I just emulate them.
Yeah.
And I don't see one here. I mean, I'm sure they're there, and I'm hoping that what happens is uh my world opens up and I start to see those people. And I
Yeah.
think it will. I think really a lot of it you have to just believe that um that to me it's God, but God's going to open the
Yeah.
doors, he's going to find the people, he's going to do whatever. I have to do my part, do the activities.
Yeah, but the
I
right
have
people
to
will
just
come.
be open to the fact that it's going to show up
Yeah,
somewhere.
totally.
Somehow. We should
Yep.
hurry. You know what I mean?
Same.
So, yeah, so anyway, that's kind of what I've been thinking about a lot lately and just kind of working on it. It'd be kind of fun probably for us to do like a impossible goal challenge, you know what I mean? Because I think it really helps, like, having my friend that's doing it too, it
Yeah.
really helps because, I don't know, there's just something about knowing someone else is having to do the same thing. And then
Yeah. So
some of
too.
the people that are in the group, you know, yeah, it helps just knowing other people are doing it.
Well, and don't you think too, it's like adds that a level of accountability because, we will let ourselves down any day of the week, but like we're
So,
not gonna let somebody else down. And I feel
yeah.
like that helps a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah, a perfect example of that. Plus, too, I kinda see the spots, like, I'm doing carnivore, and so Jean's doing carnivore also, and so one of the girls that I'm meeting with here this week, the place she wanted to meet was the perfect muffin or the happy muffin or the something muffin, and so I thought, "Oh,
I
crap,
cannot have a
muffins, that sounds
muffin.
good." And then I realized, "Okay, I need to immediately throw some accountability in here." So what I did was I,
Uh-oh. Hold on.
I told her immediately that I was carnivore because I thought if I tell her immediately I'm carnivore,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
if I'm doing anything but drinking coffee, she's going to think, well, I thought you were carnivore. So, so I threw that in there immediately. So, you kind of learn the things that help you be more accountable to something.
Yeah.
Like who can I tell so that when I tell them, they're kind of extra eyes and ears and extra accountability uh, to what I'm doing. You know how for years I had wanted to get a trainer while I'm here in Dayton, Ohio. Never
Yep.
done
You
it.
have
Never
been
done it.
talking
Never
about
done it.
that.
Never done it. Never done it.
Yeah.
Well, part of the one of my impossible goals is to is in health and you know weighing a certain amount by the end of the year. That Gene and I both have the same one,
Yeah.
and it's funny because I immediately got in gear and had my assistant get my trainer lined up. So I've
Oh
already
my
met
god.
twice. I meet with them tomorrow and Friday because I was having a trainer at home, but then when I'd come up here, I wasn't having a trainer, and I'm walking
Yeah.
10,000 steps every day. So
Yeah.
it just moves the standard of what you're committed to and what you say you'll do and how do you get it done, right?
Yep. Totally.
So
Yeah.
pretty exciting. So
I love this.
I
No.
would challenge everybody to come up with a 10x impossible goal and just see what happens after you do that. And then stay connected to it on a regular basis. Don't let yourself go back to the present or the past.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when I read the part that 80% is your security, the
Mm.
80% you're doing right now is security, it's gonna be extremely hard to let go. Once you kinda know that, you go, "Okay, this is gonna be hard to let go, so I'm gonna have to give extra attention to letting go and making sure I'm not falling back into
Yeah.
those habits that are keeping me with the present self I have and the past self I have."
Yeah. Quick question because I know we're kind of running out of time, but when you're letting some of those things go and another who is taking them over, like how do you respond to to maybe other people that are like, "Well, wait a minute, like shouldn't you be doing that or why are you not doing that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I always equate that to the same way I let go of my real estate business. It's all in how you frame it.
Yeah.
Um, you know, have you brought that person along with you, right?
Yeah.
Have you punted to them in situations, or are you always speaking up and have the answers? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You gotta set the stage if it's something
Mhm.
big in your life. If it's little, hell, I don't even care if I lose some of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be worth it. And I had to not focus on any business Brad lost for me, and it
Yeah.
wasn't that much, honestly, but if I had focused on it, I would have ran back in and tried to micromanage or grab it back. But
Mhm.
again, if your future's bright enough, even if you lose a little bit in your present, so what,
Yeah,
right?
that's so true actually now that you're saying that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but if your future's not bright enough, then all of a sudden your present has more value than you're gonna you're gonna give it more value, and so you're gonna protect it more. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes, totally.
So a couple of things though, really bringing the other person in, like the way you structure things. I always started calling Brad my listing partner.
Yeah.
I'm on an appointment that day or I'm out of town that day. I have a
Mhm.
listing partner. His name is Brad. And so Brad was a partner and a listing partner or something like that. And so that allowed people to feel good about the handoff, not like I was deserting them or handing them off to someone else. And then
Right.
after a while, I was just never available when the phone call came in.
Yeah.
But I'm Brad, I'm her listing partner, I'd be happy to come out and help you.
Yeah,
And
totally.
people
Yep.
don't honestly, people aren't laying around thinking about you as much as you think they're laying around thinking about you.
Yeah.
Uh, but also there's also some comfort in us having those people need us, I think,
Mhm.
and so, but
Yeah.
when you start saying when you start really saying that the attention is the gap, in other words, where I'm spending my attention is the difference between staying where I am and getting where I wanna go,
Yep.
then all of a sudden your attention and where you put it has a higher priority than it
Yep.
had yesterday or the day
Yep. I
before,
love that. Yep.
right?
Makes so much sense. Oh my gosh. I'm kinda sad. I heard he's not doing another one of these. Is that true? Man,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he says on here anyway. If he does one more, I'll let you know, but
yeah, let me know. I'd love to
yeah,
do it.
but, yeah.
'Cause
So that's
it's
why
such a
I'm
great you just need that little push, you know? Because like, there are a couple of big things that, like, I really am going to do, and I just keep getting pulled back into this other stuff, all
yeah,
the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy to do. But
Yep.
I think, when something like this is kinda hard to understand in the beginning, which it kinda has been for me, that's one of the reason why I keep repeating it and keep teaching it is because when something like this kinda reminds me of Gary when he started talking about wealth determiners and how
Yeah.
you need 5 to 7, and I didn't even understand what he was talking about. Over time, that just became a natural part of the way I thought and the way
Yep.
I spent my time and attention, and I
Yeah.
think this will too. The more you think about it and the more you start catching yourself, asking yourself, what is my attention on right now? Or what was my
Yep.
attention on all day? Was it supporting keeping my present or my past? Or is it supporting me getting that bigger future? I think
Yep.
once you ask yourself that enough times, it's kind of like having a rubber band on your hand. It remind you to think of that first. If I pay attention to this, what is that actually going to do for me? Support my present and my past, or is it going to support that bigger future that I want?
Yep. So true. Love it. Awesome. This is so good.
Awesome. Well, quick one. So we'll keep you informed on how this 90-day transformation goes, but I would challenge you to just think about what would be a bigger impossible goal that by making it, you can move your attention to bigger and brighter things to support that future and set standards and a kind of a create a system that supports you getting that bigger, brighter future, and also standards that keep you from falling back to the activities that are supporting where you are currently. So, Dana, thank you. Hey, you got your big event tomorrow, I think, right?
It's
Do you
Thursday and
have a
Friday. Yeah.
Thursday and Friday? Awesome. Yeah, because I was texting with Wade and he told me he's going to come draw for you guys again.
Yeah. Yep. He's coming back this year. Yeah, he'll be here. Well, it kind of starts tomorrow. The VIP dinner starts tomorrow, but after that, we're having those sushi people at our house again tomorrow night.
Oh gosh, I'm going to miss that sushi. I'm going to miss the whole
I
event.
know.
Remember, if
Good.
you've not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you could pay Dana and I is to give us a 5-star review and pass this podcast along to somebody that you think would benefit from these conversations. If you have a challenge, an opportunity, or a topic, or a guest that you think would be good on our podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Dana, I guess I'll see you next time.
Sounds good. See you then.